Now, since we last spoke, you've emerged as a possible Conservative leadership candidate, and Mogmentum has emerged, I believe. There's going to be a reshuffle soon, so I read in the Times this morning, so it must be true. What ministerial position would you like?
I think you managed to get the answer to that question when you proposed ministerial office to the Prime Minister, and she giggled. You gave her more to laugh about in one interview than she'd had all year.
Oh, but Jacob, that was on July the 24th. We're now on September the 4th. A lot has changed over. She's been for a walk in the mountains, and we all know what that does to her judgment.
I doubt that particular judgment has changed, and I think.
But if you seriously though, there is a school of thought that you are in popularity, you are the second most popular Conservative contender for the leadership, and I mean that is sort of to your credit that you've emerged as that. There is a school of thought that says, well, okay, well let's test him out in a ministerial job and see what he's like. Would you accept one if you were offered one?
First of all, I think popularity in politics is extremely fleeting. And what I'm interested in, and what you're interested in, is developing Conservative ideas and discussing them, and hoping that in future we have a more appealing menu of options for the electorate than we had at the last election. And more conservative in its principles, that people understand why we're saying what we're saying rather than it simply being...
You clearly have a talent at explaining Conservative principles. That's why you have emerged with such popularity. Surely you need, if you are offered a job, it would be sort of odd to turn it down, wouldn't it?
But I haven't been offered a job.
No, but if you were...
But I'd be very surprised if I were. I don't think it's wise to spend one's life thinking about what may happen, because it probably won't. And let me put it another way. I've always thought there is nothing wrong with political ambition. Most people who go into the House of Commons presumably at some point think that they would like to be a minister. Some people go in the full knowledge that they don't want to be and would be terrible at it. But there's nothing wrong with having the ambition to be in the cabinet, is there? I agree with that. I think ambition is perfectly honourable and respectable. And in my own point of view, what my ambition is to be involved, and I hope to some extent influential, in the development of Conservative ideas, and to be re-elected in North East Somerset. But I'm not unduly ambitious beyond that.
But you wouldn't rule it out, would you?
I just don't think it's going to happen, so I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Would you not see it as your duty to, I mean, if the call came, I mean, Boris used to use this analogy, sort of if he was called from the fields, I can't remember, you probably know which sort of classic literature that came from, but if he was called from the fields, he would sort of come to do the job. I imagine you are cut of the same cloth.
Well, I think we all have to do our duty if we can, and if that is a duty we're called upon to do. Of course I think that, yes.
I take that as a yes, Jacob.
I could hear somebody suggesting that to you in the background.
my producer was shouting in my ear.
Mr. Dale.
Everything I ask you comes from Jagruti, my producer. I don't have the brain to ask these questions.
I heard that coming through from another voice.